Hi there, I'm Drew Voit, and I'm the winemaker at Elizabeth Chambers Cellar here in downtown McMinnville, Oregon, in the lovely northern Willamette Valley. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of our 2017 vintage single vineyard Pinot Noirs. This is our 2017 Temperance Hill Vineyard Pinot Noir. So Temperance Hill Vineyard is probably the most famous vineyard in the Eola Amity Hills. That's the appellation where this vineyard is located, which is a little bit to the south of us. Temperance Hill was initially planted back in 1981, and we've been sourcing from Temperance Hill for many years, from the same block for many years, which was that block itself was planted in the 1990s, and it's planted to the Pommard clone of Pinot Noir. What we find in the Eola Amity Hills, especially on the eastern side of it, which is where this is located, is it's a volcanic hill series. So it's weathered basalt soils from an ancient overland lava flow, which is very typical of that part of the Willamette Valley, and it's a little different than the volcanic soil that we find in a place like the Dundee Hills. It's shallower and rockier, and is referred to as Nicaea soil, Nekia. So Nicaea soil is what we find in this part of the Eola Amity Hills. And so what we also have there is a very cool, breezy part of the Willamette Valley, the Van Duzer corridor, the gap in the coast range that allows cool marine air to come off the Pacific Ocean and gives us the moderate climate that we have here, so optimal for Pinot Noir production. In that part of the valley, those breezes are quite pronounced, and they come in the middle of the afternoon on warm summer days, and cool vineyards in that area down rather quickly. So although a day might be in the mid to high 80s at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, by 4 or 5, these winds come in over the coast range off the Pacific Ocean and cool this part of the valley down quite early, and that allows us to achieve a lot of bright natural acidity, slow maturation of the flavors, and gives us a lot of concentration, as well as a lot of nice structure and tannin as the skins get a little thicker, and as we extract those tannins, they give us a lot of structure in the wine. So this wine was hand harvested, brought to the winery and destemmed, and then fermented for about 2.5 weeks before a light pressing, and then was moved to French oak, predominantly used, just a small percentage of new French oak barrels, mostly neutral, really trying to focus on the vineyard characteristics and the bright floral characteristics and nice fresh fruit. Temperance Hill is also has been organically farmed for many years, and we've been working with the same parcel, the same block on that vineyard for quite a few years. So as we pour it into the glass, we'll notice something that if you were to look at some of our other 2017 Pinot Noirs, we see a substantially darker color, and that's pretty typical of Temperance Hill. We get a lot of nice darker color in these wines because of those thicker skins, where we get more tannin and also more color in the wine and more structure. So what we get on the nose is a lot of darker fruit characteristics. So there's sort of blueberry and blackberry, Marionberry kinds of characteristics, even little bits of black plum kind of characteristics, and then a pronounced, there's a little bit of a nice floral, almost a rose petal tone, but what we really get is this brambly, sort of briary, almost woodsy character. So it's the aroma, not so much of blackberries, but sort of the entire blackberry bramble in the warm summer sunshine. And that woodsy, spicy note is one of the things that makes the Eola Amity Hills and Temperance Hill Vineyard in particular so desirable, so coveted. So on the palate with this wine, we really get the sense of structure that we typically get from Temperance Hill. The wine enters with bright acidity that then has those darker fruit characteristics, and then those woodsy sort of notes come in, but the tannins are quite prominent. The wine has a very full structure to it, and the acid and the tannin have an interesting interplay and give the wine a lot of volume and a lot of focus. And we get those fruit characteristics persist on the palate, but those spicy tones kind of rise towards the end of the finish, and we get more and more of those brambly, darker sort of woodsy tones, and that sort of caneberry characteristic. And then the wine finishes with a lot of tension in the wine. The focused tannin and bright acidity make this wine very, very vibrant. And this would be a wine that would pair very well with some stronger flavors, with things like lamb and game meats and things like that, because it has that bigger structure and that more intense kind of characteristic. So 2017 was a very ideal growing season, a nice warm but not too hot summer that finished with sunny days and cool nights, and produced wines that are going to be extremely ageable and very classic in the Oregon Pinot Noir style. And we think this Temperance Hill is typically one of our most long-lived wine of the single vineyard Pinot Noirs that we do because of that structure. And so this is a wine that will continue to improve for 3 to 5 more years in the bottle, and develop more silky textures as those tannins integrate into the wine and the wines become softer and more complex. So that was our 2017 Temperance Hill Vineyard from the Eole Amity Hills. Cheers.